Alright, all y'all about to get messed up. Today I'm gonna make cinnamon pie. No, you probably ain't never heard of a cinnamon pie, but we're gonna make a cinnamon pie today. Those of you who don't know the show Psych, it was on USA several years back. It ran for a long time. It was one of Polly and I's favorite shows. In one episode, they picked on Twin Peaks. They kind of parodied that old TV show, and they called the episode Dual Spires. Spires, Twin Peaks. In that episode, they went to this little town. Every year they did something they called the Cinnamon Festival. Apple cider, monkey bread, apple fritter, and this cinnamon pie.
We're here for the festival. We take our cinnamon very seriously. We just need a little something to hold us over till showtime. So, what's good?
How about a cup of the best piping hot apple cider this side of the Mississippi and a slice of cinnamon pie that may just bring tears?
And they flipped out over this cinnamon pie, and they ate like 27 pieces each. You were totally making noise in the background. And I don't know what it is about that episode, but for some reason I'm like, man, that pie looks really, really good. And the way they went about it, it almost seemed like it was a creamy cinnamon consistency. And I thought creamy cinnamon sounds really good, almost like ooey gooey icing off of some muffins or some cinnamon rolls or something like that. And so I think this is probably going to end up tasting kind of like a cinnamon roll pie. Let's get started. All right, so let's start out on the ingredients. We're going to use one 8-ounce package of cream cheese. Use a cup of granulated sugar. Use a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. 1 whole egg plus the yolks of 2 other eggs. Have a cup of half and half. 1/4 cup or a half a stick of melted butter, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then 3 to 4 tablespoons of ground cinnamon to taste. I'm probably going to use about 3 1/2 to split the diff, and 2 tablespoons of sifted flour, pre-made pie crust. So I just cooked it for like 10 minutes, and when we put the pie filling in, it'll cook the rest of the way. So I've got my directions over here, and it says in a large mixing bowl, beat the cream cheese and sifted sugar. Okay, so now we've got all this batter made up that's going to go inside the pie, and it says that it's going to be a little bit runny, and that is my experience here. It's definitely a little bit runny. Baking this pie at 350 degrees for 45 to 50 minutes. Now, if you're cooking a pie crust and you've ever made any kind of pie, if you're cooking it for damn near an hour, it's going to really make the outside exposed crust of that pie be just really dark and almost inedible. So I'm going to take a little bit of aluminum foil, and I'm going to put it around the edges of the pie to kind of keep it shielded. It's almost going to act like a heat shield, you know, and protect it from getting overly brown while it cooks. And then, you know, if toward the end of the bake it's not quite as brown as I wanted it to be, I'll just take the foil off for the last couple of minutes. And normally, I don't know if you're supposed to put this foil on before you add the filling or after, but I'm going to put it on before because being that this pie filling is kind of runny. If I was to be jostling this pie crust around while I'm putting this foil on like I'm doing right here, I'd probably end up spilling the pie filling all over the place. So rather than do that, I'm just going to put the aluminum foil on before I bake it. You'd like to, in theory, just have one big piece you can yank off. It's kind of like when I take the Christmas lights and I tie them all together when I put them on the house. And then it's time to take them down and just grab one end of the lights and just yank it off the house like that, so I don't have to get back up on the ladder. Kind of going to do that here, same premise. All right, so we're going to shield this thing off, tear off the excess that I don't need. Bam, there you go. Now the edges are protected. And now I'm going to pour the filling in, and there's a little bit of a hole in this pie crust through no fault of my own, but there's a little bit of a hole or a crack in it from the factory, the pie crust factory. And yeah, that's kind of covering the aluminum foil a little bit. That's all right though. I'll work that out. I don't know. Now it's ready to go into the oven. I'm gonna try and pull this foil back a little bit so it don't quite bake up my pie, mess it up a little bit. But that should be well protected. Now it's going in at 350 for 45 to 50 minutes. See you when it's done. So it's still a little jiggly. I think this is going to collapse by the time it cools off. So I'm almost positive this is supposed to happen where it blows up past the top of the shell, and then as it cools off and the air sort of passes out of it, it settles back in. The pictures on the website that I saw, it looks like whoever created this recipe, their pie did the exact same thing. So I think that's part of the plan. So I'm going to wait a few minutes and let this thing cool off, and then we'll see how the final product looks before we slice it up. All right, it's time to cut this thing open. Let's see how it looks. I'm just going to cut a slice, starting in the middle. It's a little crumbly. In the middle is nice and softened up. You can see I kind of messed up the pie a little bit, but it's a good consistency. Let's see what kind of cut. Oh, it held together perfect. Look at that. All right, we're going to give Polly the first taste. Cinnamony. All right, I gotta try it now. Let's see.
It's sort of like
Pumpkin pie, but with cinnamon. That's what it looks like. Let's see. That's really good. Pie tastes awesome. It is creamy. It's smooth. It's got a lot of cinnamon in it. It would go really good if I had some Cool Whip or maybe a little bit of vanilla ice cream with it. But it is very much the consistency of like a pumpkin pie, but without the pumpkin taste and more of the cinnamon. And I think the cream cheese and everything in it is just warm. Oh man, delicious. So I hope you enjoyed this. Polly is over here eating it up. I'm getting ready to dig in on this other piece before she takes it all. Thanks everybody for watching. See you later.